Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Welcome to today's session. One more time. No, should be all right. So welcome everyone to this Living in Vraja session. We are very happy to hold it because despite not being able to be in Vraja at the moment, to prepare this session was a very beautiful experience. And this year, in our time in India, we had the chance to be a lot on the side of Yamuna. We were taking few pilgrims into walking on the side of the Yamuna from very north of the petal of Braj Bhumi, from Ramghat down to Chirghat, to Nandaghat, to Vamshivat, and to Vrindavan. So we will be very happy to share that with you today. We had an experience. We were together with two devotees and we spent a few hours on the side of Yamuna, speaking of her glories and chanting japa. And we noticed how impactful it was to us. And even after, when we went back to Vrindavan town, that was close to Vrindavan, for hours and hours, it felt like Yamuna was still flowing in our heart. We could see her still flowing in our consciousness. It was a very beautiful experience. Yes, Ayatakshi.
I don't know if for others, sorry, maybe the music of the flute is a little bit too loud. I don't know for others if it's...
Sure, definitely it should be just a background. So let me put it a little softer. Okay, good. Good, perfect. So it is said that Yamuna Devi is both a goddess and she is also a gopi. She is Vishaka as the gopi, Vishaka Devi, a very, very close associate of Srimati Radharani. And in this form of Vishaka, she is actually the spiritual water that gives loves. But she is also a goddess, and she's a goddess in a form of a goddess. She's an expansion of Vishaka. She's actually Kalindi, one of the queen of Dwarka, and she's also said to be the daughter of the sun god. And we will see actually very often in the pictures that we will have, we will see Yamuna with her father. We will see the sun and we will see Yamuna Devi. In many of the pictures, there will be both on the picture. And it is described that when Krishna goes out of Vrindavan, I mean, it don't really go out, but when it is said that it's going out, the real Krishna stays in Vrindavan, and an expansion of Krishna, a Vasudeva expansion of Krishna, goes out of Vrindavan. So in the same way, when Yamuna flows out of Vrindavan, then she becomes the Kalindi River. She is one of the first servants of Krishna, because when Krishna appeared and when Vasudeva was bringing Krishna from Mathura to Vrindavan and he had to cross Yamuna, Yamuna made a pathway for Vasudeva to carry Krishna across the Yamuna, and Yamuna was able to touch the lotus feet of Krishna with her droplets from her water. So she was one of the first who had the opportunity to touch Krishna's lotus feet. She is one of the doorkeepers of Vrindavan, so she has a very, very important role for us Vaishnava and for us aspiring to enter in Vrindavan consciousness, not only to enter in Vrindavan in the place, but also in the consciousness. So she's very, very empowered. And of course, the four other gatekeepers are the dust of Vrindavan, Yogamaya, Gopeshwar Mahadev, and Giriraj Govardhan. And Yamuna is extremely satisfied when devotees are sitting on the banks and hearing about the glories of the Lord. And this is what we will do today. We will give pleasure to Yamuna by sitting on the banks and by hearing the glorification, her glorification, and the glorification of Radha and Krishna. So let us please her today with our service, and we can start with a very beautiful prayer to Yamuna Devi from Vrindavan Mahimamrita, and maybe if we can ask Ayadakshi to read it.
I bow before Yamuna Ji, who is eternally splendid, with many jewel-like lotuses, which flows from an ocean of bliss, which is delightful with many cowful flowers, and which is filled with the sound of maiden beads and birds. Vrindavan Mahimamrita 264.
Thank you. So now we will offer our obeisances in our mind, and I will ask you to please look very carefully at the picture, and you feel like you are there. You are entering your device, and you are now into the other side of the computer or the screen, and you are now in Sri Vrindavan, in front of Yamuna Devi. And now please close your eyes and try to keep this picture very much present in your consciousness. You can try to hear the sounds of the birds and feel the gentle breeze of Yamuna caressing your face. Try to smell her fragrance, which is very delicate. Feel how Yamuna's presence purifies the heart and takes you beyond all difficulties of this material world. And now please offer your most humble obeisances to Yamuna Devi. And pray for the blessing today to enter the dimension of the Holy Dham. And pray that a flow of devotion will enter your heart. Still in the meditation, imagine your spiritual master is there and tells you, pray that Yamuna will grace you with this liquid prema that is so important to nourish yourself, the soul. As the soul, you cannot be nourished by anything from this world, but can be nourished with this liquid transcendence. Might now take a few drops of Yamuna Ji on your head and open your eyes. Today we will have one principle for our pilgrimage, and it's a very simple principle but very beautiful one. Go with the flow. And this is something we can feel when we are on the side of Yamuna, how actually all the problems, anxiety, even desires that are often in our mind are slowly taken away by the currents of her by the currents of her waves. And we notice when we are close to Yamuna how our tiny life is actually not so important, and how actually the spiritual journey and our relationship with Radha and Krishna are what is most important for us in the life. We learn to be open for the flow of mercy when we are close to her, and we learn to detach from our own concept, our own desires, our own plans. And this is something that applies for the pilgrimage, but this is also something we can take away from today's session, a reflection on our life in general, and how much we are into the flow of blessings, and how much do we allow ourselves to be carried, and how much we are flexible for the situation that are coming in our life. So this was the introduction for today's Yamuna pilgrimage, and we will now ask Vajayanti to tell us a small pastime that is happening in connection to Yamuna.
Yes. Hare Krishna, dear devotees, nice to be with you again.
Yeah, just speaking now.
Yep. And so one day, Shrimati Radharani was in Surya Kund for her worship of the sun god. And we need to know that Lalita Saki was with her, and Lalita Saki, she's actually very expert in one of her expertise, because she's expert in many things, is to use stems, lotuses, to decorate the divine couple and the leaves of the lotuses. So this is one of her expertise. Then Radharani asked to Lalita Saki, you are famous because you are the knower of all the lotuses. So please look how many lotuses are here. Please describe them to me. And then Lalita started to describe the different, pointing out the different lotuses to Shrimati Radharani. And she said, here you see, there are the white lotuses. The white lotuses are the reflection of your compassion. And the bumblebee Krishna is always eager for your mercy. So it's always roaming around this white lotus of your compassion. The pink lotuses are the reflection of your sweetness. And the bumblebee Krishna is always very eager to rest upon the lotus of your sweetness. The blue lotuses are the reflection of your beauty. Take away all the fatigue of bumblebee Krishna. And then she said, the yellow lotuses are the reflection of your love that intoxicates the bumblebee Krishna. And then she said, oh dear Radha, all these special lotuses, they represent your form and are supported by your leaf, like gopis, and the lotus stems are your different moods. So as they were discussing like this, Shrimati Radharani was very pleased to hear. And that moment, Vishaka Devi comes. And she said, dear Radha, today, Yamuna Devi and some other gopis have arranged that we can have like a boat festival tonight on the island of lotuses on the Yamuna. So everyone was very happy. The day continued and the evening arrived. The evening arrived and all the Sakis were extremely excited. And they dressed Shrimati Radharani before going out in the night as a fragrant blooming lotus flower. So they are very expert, so they dressed her like a lotus flower. And then, under the cover of darkness, we could imagine, I guess, they put also some dark cloth around Shrimati Radharani so she was not so visible. So they all started to go towards the Yamuna river. And as soon as they arrived there on the Yamuna, Krishna was also there, very pleased to see the beauty of Shrimati Radharani, and Yamuna Devi herself appeared walking on the river, and came to welcome the divine couple, offering some lotuses. And then she asked them to board. There was a beautiful boat, and the divine couple and the Sakis, they all boarded on the boat, and they went just on the island of lotuses. You can also imagine a little bit the beauty of Yamuna. Actually, you can imagine with the moon in the night, her banks look like diamond powder. There are beautiful forests, and the reflection on the moon on the water, and this beautiful boat transporting Radha and Krishna and the gopis on the island of lotuses. As they arrived on the island of lotuses, Yamuna Devi again welcomed there, and then there all the gopis had prepared a huge umbrella made out of lotuses, stems and leaves, under which there was a beautiful throne where Radha and Krishna were asked to sit. And there they were relaxing, and they were offering to them beautiful, delicious, you say not prasad, but delicacies they were offering them. At that point, Radha and Krishna started to enact what will be the main pastime of the whole night. And that was a drama. It was entitled The Lotus and the Bumblebee. And as we understood, this island of lotuses, so lotuses were everywhere on this island. So Srimati Radharani was there, was picking up a lotus flower, and she was throwing on the Yamuna. And Bumblebee Krishna will swim into Yamuna, take the lotus flower, come back, and take the same lotus flower, and he would very devotionally offer this lotus flower to the lotus feet of Srimati Radharani. Then Srimati Radharani will take another lotus flower, and she will very elegantly throw the lotus flower in the Yamuna. And Bumblebee Krishna again will go swim in the Yamuna, take the lotus flower, come back. Each lotus flower had a different fragrance, a different color, and he would offer to the lotus feet of Srimati Radharani. And like this, Surdas, this is if you remember, I don't know if it was the last time that we had Chandra Sarovar and Surdas. Actually, this is a vision of Surdas. He describes this pastime. And Surdas say, now at the end of night, there was an enormous pile of all the colors in the rainbow. So it was like a rainbow of lotus flowers with different fragrance. They were decorating the beautiful lotus feet of Vrindavan. And this was giving a huge amount of pleasure to all the Sakis, all the Manjaris, Yamuna Devi, because again, another time, Srimati Radharani was glorified as Vrindavaneshwari, the queen of Vrindavan, and that Krishna was controlled by her love. And then, like you can see in this picture, there were the first rays of the dawn that were coming out. So as the dawn started to appear, Radha and Krishna and all the gopis, they again boarded on the boat, and they went on the other side of the Yamuna, where very quickly everyone again departed on their respective path.
So we will now have a little slideshow with pictures, and we can keep in mind all what we heard and try to be very much present, like we are personally there at the side of the Yamuna.
Krishna, Krishna, Hare, Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare
Krishna Krishna Hare
We will now hear about the descriptions of the Yamuna. It is said that it is important to see the Holy Dam with our transcendental vision. There is something that we can see with our eyes, but there is something we can perceive with our heart. And His Holiness Sachinandana Swami was saying once when we were there at the Yamuna, that as we sit on the bank of the Yamuna, there is one thing that our eyes see, but there is something else that only our heart can feel. This is liquid love, liquid transcendence. And the scriptures give us many descriptions of how the Yamuna in the spiritual world is. And to hear those descriptions allow us to see with the eyes of the heart. It is said by saintly persons that Yamuna is like the black mascara encircling Boma Vrindavan. She is described to be a mixture of grape juice, sugar, and milk. And here we have, I think it should be a verse or a description. Maybe we can ask, maybe Purnamasi, if you like to read it.
Descriptions of Yamuna Ji. With her rolling waves, Yamuna worships Krishna's lotus feet with flowers. Swans are chanting Aratic songs. Intoxicated by living in the Yamuna, jewel fishes jump out of water to catch a glimpse of the divine couple or to invite Radha and Krishna to enter Yamuna's embrace.
Thank you.
And maybe if I can add something, actually, in this way that Yamuna serves, that sometimes Radha and Krishna enters to take bath in the Yamuna. So in some places, the Yamuna is just ankle deep. In some places, it's knee deep. In some places, it's so in some places they can even cross to go to the Iceland just by walking in the Yamuna. Yes.
We have another description here, and maybe Divya Kishori, if you like to read.
Krishna sees the Yamuna to be like the long black braid of his beloved Radhika. The many lotus flowers, like the jasmine flowers, decorating Radharani's braid. The swans, like the decorative string of pearls entwined in her tresses. The small whirlpool, like her curly locks that ornaments her forehead.
Thank you. And maybe we have another description. Maybe Nikunja Viharini, if you would like to read this one.
Here and there are scattered flower garlands, remnants of chewed betel and discarded ornaments left by Sri Krishna and the gopis as prasadam of the Maharasa for Yamuna Devi's pleasure. Yamuna is very attached to these moonlight pastimes with melodic and the vibration of the flute.
You. We will continue a little bit with seeing pictures, and we will make a little break a little bit lower at the side of Yamuna Devi.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare.
Raji, you're on mute.
Yes, we see Yamuna services and how Yamuna is very much present in the pastimes in Vrindavan of Radha and Krishna. Even before coming actually to the material world, Krishna was telling Shrimati Radharani, please come with me. And Shrimati Radharani said, I will come only if Govardhan is there, if Yamuna is there. So Yamuna is a very important presence. We will hear another small pastimes of how Yamuna is serving the divine couple. So one day, again, Lalita, that is very close to Shrimati Radharani, will say, by arrangement, again, of Purnamasi, you will be able to meet Krishna today. And that will be on the beautiful forest of the Yamuna. And Sri Radha answered, I am a pious girl. I cannot go and meet him. But yet I want actually to go and meet him. Lalita said, but these are contradictory words. You go or you don't go. Then Srimati Radharani, with a heart full of love, with tears in her eyes, she said, you don't understand the language of love. No is yes. Night, it's day. Losing again is winning. Crying is laughing. Giving is receiving. Speaking is being silent. At that point, Lalita also smiled with tears in her eyes, and she said, I understand now, my dear Sri Radha, and I will bring you in a beautiful forest on the Yamuna where Krishna is there, sitting and playing his flute. So Radharani and Lalita walked and arrived on a ghat close to the Yamuna, where from distance they could hear Krishna's flute and see from far just the silhouette of Krishna. At that point, Radharani was mesmerized. She could not move any longer. And they were just sitting on this ghat, on the Yamuna river. At the same time, more up on the Yamuna, Krishna was sitting there. And also he was very eager because he knew that he was supposed to meet with Srimati Radharani. Madhumangala was with him. He takes the hand of Madhumangala and he pleads him, Oh Madhumangala, please help me. How can we try to find a way that we can send a message to Srimati Radharani from my heart to the heart of Srimati Radharani. I want to see her. And just at that moment, Madhumangala stood up on the river of the Yamuna, and there was a beautiful 1,000 petal lotus on the Yamuna. So Madhumangala took this lotus and brought it to Krishna. Krishna was very happy to see this beautiful, again, it's one of the main services of Yamuna is these beautiful lotuses to decorate the Yamuna. And Krishna started to write on each leaf of these petals a message for Srimati Radharani. And then Krishna himself went back to the Yamuna, took the lotus and placed it in the water of the Yamuna. The lotus started to flow, and he came towards the ghat where Srimati Radharani was sitting with Lalita. Vishaka was also there. So Vishaka saw this lotus. It was very beautiful and effulgent. She said, wow, what a beautiful lotus. So she went, she picked up this lotus and she brought it to Srimati Radharani. Srimati Radharani, she looked at the lotus and she saw actually something was written on this lotus. She was very excited. So she read it, every word of the 1,000 petals 1,000 times. So again, over again and again, Srimati Radharani was reading the words of Krishna. Then Radha turned towards Lalita and Vishaka and towards Yamuna and say, may the sound of these words full of love and devotion resonate here in the Vrindavan forest and forever more. And this is Nanda Das, is also one of the Astachap, like Surdas, there are 8. So this is the vision of the poet Nanda Das. Again, so beautiful, if we think what we can see with our heart. Vrindavan is in our heart, no? So when we can enter this level of consciousness of devotion, this is what we can see in our heart. And Nanda Das say, one who sits on a Yamuna, on a moonlight full with love and devotion, can hear Yamuna reverberate with the words of the Lila Ambuja. Ambuja is the lotus and Lila, this lotus of pastime. So even nowadays, If one seated on a full moon night on the river bank of the Yamuna and still hear the words of love of Krishna reverberating from the Yamuna. Shri Yamuna Maiki.
Jai. Yamuna has many different services, and we hear in the Yamuna Stakam that she vanquishes all the offense of the living entities and burn away the greatest of sins. And it is even described that just the desire to bath in her, or just the touch of Yamuna's breeze, is highly purifying. And more than that, she increases the current of loving devotion in the heart of the devotees. Prabhupada Saraswati mentioned Yamuna to be like a mother. And he explained that no matter how disqualified the son is, the mother always accepts her son the way he is. And in the same way, Yamuna accepts those who take shelter in her waters, even if they are full of disqualification. And Srimad Bhagavad Acharya explained that actually Yamuna gives us the qualification to receive Krishna in our lives. So even if we don't have any qualification to go, we are accepted by Yamuna Ji the way we are, and in plus she gives us the qualification to receive Radha and Krishna in our life. Yamuna is a very, very great place also in the Vallabha Sampradaya, and most of the poets, when they will sing poetry, they will always make sure that they will sing poetry in glorification of their guru and in the glorification of Yamuna Ji. It's always a must. In all the glorification, both needs to be there. And another from those poets, Paramananda Das, sings as beautiful verse when he explained that the Yamuna is so kind that she gives kripa in charity to all jivas of Kali Yuga who have storehouses of bad qualities. So they don't have few bad qualities, but they have storehouse of bad qualities. But Yamuna, she's so kind, she gives kripa in charity to all those jiva. And just by taking few drops of Yamuna Ji, those people who have storehouse of bad quality, they become Ananya Bhaktas. They become like fully dedicated in loving devotion to Radha and Krishna. Just by singing Yamuna Ji's glories and remembering her, everyone's devotional life becomes successful. And in plus, Yamuna, she's actually a guru. She is the guru of all the trees, the gardens, the birds, and all creatures that are on the side of Yamuna. She is their guru, and she teaches them how to give love to Radha and Krishna individually or collectively. And she's teaching individually or collectively all those living entities on her banks, how to give love to Radha and Krishna. And Yamuna has also services to the divine couple, but because she helped to facilitate their pastimes, and also by her loving embrace to Radha and Krishna. It is said that Yamuna submerged Radha and Krishna not only with her water, but also with powerful current of romantic love. And in plus, Yamuna Devi provides an ideal stage for Radha and Krishna and the gopis to have their Rasa Lila pastimes on her banks. Yeah.
So yes, as we saw, she's a stage for the Rasa dance many times. So some of her banks are very open and expensive, so that the Rasa dance can take place. And some other places are actually very secluded and concealed by gardens and groves. The sand, as we were saying before, is naturally cooling, like powder camphor, kissed by the moonbeams. And then there is the touch of Krishna's lotus feet. So the sparkling powder become doubling soothing for the heart of the Vaishnava. And yeah, with their currents, she's gently massaging actually the divine couple. And then, as we saw before, there are huge amount of lotuses, many lotuses of many colors. And as we saw so many times, the divine couple also take pleasure in water sports. So one day, this is actually the pastime from the Sangita Madhava, from also again from Prabodhananda Sarasvati. And many times also Radharani with all the her friends would go also on the Yamuna river to picking up water, and they would also play in the Yamuna, splash and swim. So one day Krishna anticipated, he knew that the gopis will come. So he went in the spot where he knew that the gopis will come, and there was a big cluster of blue lotuses. So Krishna went there and he hid himself because he's also blue. And then the gopis came. They were all joking, splashing, and speaking. And then Radharani was swimming with her because she saw these blue lotuses on the Yamuna, and her mind was completely absorbed in thinking of Krishna because it's so beautiful, these blue lotus like Krishna's eyes, and so she was just swimming and absorbing in thinking of Sham. And then all of a sudden there was like an explosion and a big roar. Lotuses were thrown everywhere. And Radharani, she was so afraid. What it is? She thought maybe it's a demon. Maybe it's a crocodile. What it is? She became so afraid. And then she looked here and there. And when everything was a little bit again peaceful, there were no more waves on the Yamuna. Not far from there was Krishna floating on the Yamuna with a beautiful smile like this. And Radharani became extremely upset. She was very angry. And then immediately she just, she was fearful, but this fearful transformed in real anger. So she just left with all the sakis and she went in the forest in one of the kunja. And like this, Krishna was left alone on the Yamuna shore. So he was there sitting with his hands in his cheeks in his hand, and he was thinking, oof, maybe this time I was a little bit too intense with Shrimati Radharani, but what shall I do? And she was actually praying, and she was praying, yeah, I don't know what can I do now. And just at that time, Vrinda Devi was walking by with some of her helpers, and they were carrying many ornaments, clothes, because there are many storage houses in the forest where they keep all this. Vrinda keeps all the things for the next pastimes. And then Krishna says, smiling, say, "Oh, this must be the hand of fate that I meet you today." And Vrinda say, "What can I do for you, my dear Krishna?" And Krishna explained the situation. And Vrinda Devi say, "See, we are carrying this. You can just dress as a beautiful girl." And then Vrinda Devi and the other Vanasaki, they helped and they dressed Krishna as a beautiful girl. And then Vrinda Devi say, "Okay, now you know what to do." So Krishna looked around and he saw the beautiful footprints on the sand of the Yamuna of Shrimati Radharani. And then he started to follow the footprints of Shrimati Radharani. And when he came close to this kunja, this forest where Shrimati Radharani was, he looks inside and he sees Shrimati Radharani was there sitting, and she was still complaining with the gopis. This is too much. Krishna doesn't know his limits. This is really too much. So she was really upset. And then Krishna slowly dressed as a beautiful gopi, entered the kunj, and Radharani saw her from far. And actually, immediately she was attracted and enchanted by the beauty of these gopis. And then she addressed the gopis and said, "Oh, moon-faced one, who are you? Please become my dear friend. You seem to be trembling in fear because Krishna is somewhere maybe looking for you." And then Radharani came close to the gopi. She held her for the wrist, for the hand, And immediately she could not speak any longer. And her limbs became all stiff. Immediately, all the gopis around, they understood. And then they smiled to Shrimati Radharani. And at that point, in approval, like, it's okay, it's our sham. And then at that point, Shrimati Radharani immediately also understood. She smiled and then gave up her anger. And in this way, they spent the whole afternoon on the banks of the Yamuna, again playing.
Thank you. It's just so refreshing to to hear all those pastimes. And we have few pastimes that come also in form of quotes from Vrindavan Maimrita that we will be able to read. Maybe we could ask Jennifer if you would like to read the following one. You are still there, Jennifer. I saw you before. Yes.
Seeing the bank of the Yamuna, Hari became eager to enjoy pastimes with his beloved gopis. When Krishna and the gopis came to her bank, Yamuna offered lotus flowers to their lotus feet with her waves. The swans and geese came to learn from the swift movements of Muraris and the gopis' jingling ankle bells how to coo. Seeing Krishna coming, Yamuna became her current and increased her volume unlimitedly. But when she saw that Krishna was eager to cross her, she made her waters very shallow again. For Krishna's pleasure, Yamuna became just knee-deep, and the rivulets by her banks were just ankle-deep. Govinda Lilamrita.
Thank you. And maybe Aman, if you would like to read the two next verses.
Sometimes as two bumblebees among the Yamuna's golden lotuses, sometimes as two swans in the Yamuna's forest of lotuses, and sometimes as a golden vine climbing a divine tamal tree. Radha and Krishna enjoy pastimes of meeting Vrindavan Mahimamrit 16.7.
Thank you. And maybe we can ask Tanu Mataji, would you like to read the next one?
Throwing a great burst of kamal, carob, and other kinds of lotus flowers on each other's body, closing their eyes as they splash water, diving into the water and lifting each other from it, and both claiming victory in battle. Two fair and dark splendorous play in the Yamuna water. Vrindavan Mahima Mrita 2.70.
Thank you. So it is, our scriptures are full of those beautiful pastimes. And Vajayanti is telling that there is one more pastime. We just have to see according to time. I think. I think we can have it. Okay. We can have it. Okay. Maybe we will be maybe 5-10 minutes over time, but I think it's fine. It's beautiful. Yeah, it is actually. That's the yes. Oops, sorry. Here. So there is actually also a small pastimes that explain that when the gopis and Radharani take bath in the Yamuna, Krishna makes sure to take his bath downstream of the Yamuna, because then he can physically touch the kumkum and their ointment from Radharani and the gopis that decorated their bodies. And he also relished the smell and fragrance of their bodies as he take bath downstream from the gopis. And Vajayanti has a last time for today.
So yeah, this is also again a beautiful short pastimes. And once Krishna told to Radharani, So in our pastime, you always, most of the time you are in anger, and I need to break it. Could we once again turn it around? That I will enter in man, in anger, and you will need to break it. Srimati Radharani say, yes, that will be very easy for me, because my love is, I love you so much that it will be very easily that it will be conquered, your man. And so they agreed. And Krishna then, immediately turned his back towards Srimati Radharani, and that's it. But Krishna actually enters so much in anger that Radharani was not able to break this anger. You can imagine even all the gopis went and 1 month passed, and Krishna was still in anger, in man. And you can imagine Srimati Radharani became practically desperate. She didn't know any longer what to do. So herself, she went and she took shelter of Yamuna. She was on the Yamuna banks, and actually with tears in her eyes, she was crying so much. She was almost creating another Yamuna river with her tears. At that point, Yamuna, again in the form of goddess, appeared in front of Srimati Radharani. And she said, I cannot bear to hear you crying so much. What happened? What can I do for you? And Srimati Radharani said, yes, please help me to break the anger of Shamasundara. Yamuna said, should not worry, Srimati Radharani. And immediately, like very fast, she transformed, because Yamuna Devi, she's also dark in complexion. And she changed, she became like Krishna. She disguised like Krishna himself. So then she went to find Krishna. And once she found Krishna, Krishna was there, was extremely upset. And when Krishna saw her, he asked, who are you? And Yamuna answered, who are you? You look like an imposter, disguised like me, like Krishna. And Krishna was already in anger, you can imagine, from 1 month that he was upset. And now that Yamuna was telling him like this, he started to have some self-doubts who he was. And then Yamuna said, if you say that you are Krishna, then where is Radha? Krishna is always with Srimati Radharani. There is no Radha here, and it shows that you are just pretending to be Krishna. And this was enough actually to break the man of Krishna. And then Yamuna say, you better search for Radha and follow her lotus feet and beg forgiveness for your unreasonable long anger. So Krishna immediately did it. And Radharani actually, she became so pleased with Yamuna that she blessed Yamuna. And she said, you will never be separated, my dear Yamuna, you will never be separated from Krishna. And then say, and also, you will never be separated from me. I will always have a lotus flower with me in my hand. So since that time, Srimati Radharani has always a blue lotus in her hand. And when she plays with this lotus, she gives a message to Krishna that I play with your heart like I play with this lotus. Jai Yamuna Mai ki Jai.
Right. So we will flow a little bit further down the stream. And after that, we will have a nice meditation, ending meditation. So here we will have a little ending meditation. You can see this sadhu taking his bath. He's waist deep into the water. And we will hear, this is a meditation will be led by His Holiness Sachinandana Swami, who was doing a meditation with some devotees on the bank of the Yamuna. And he was speaking about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who also came to the Yamuna and was reciting a mantra when he was close, when he was waist deep into the water. So please just watch for a little while the picture and picture yourself also waist deep into the water. And then close your eyes.
Which Lord Chaitanya chanted when he came in the Yamuna. And I have heard he went waist deep into the Yamuna water and then chanted this mantra. So I request all of you, Yamuna Devi is flowing by our side. You may close your eyes for a moment. You may center yourself by focusing on your breathing and by listening to the sounds. Perhaps you can hear the soft talk in the back of some Brajbasis. Perhaps you hear the crowing of the cows. No, crowing of the crows, I wanted to say. Perhaps you hear some high-pitched sounds of some birds. And now you see yourself going up to your waist into the Yamuna and chanting this beautiful prayer. Repeat after me as you stand in the Yamuna and take cups, handfuls of water. Your two hands are. Then you circle and you say, Chit Ananda Bano, Chit Ananda Bano, Sadananda Suno, Sadananda Suno, Para Prema Patri, Para Prema Patri, Drava Brahma Gatri, Drava Brahma Gatri, Aganam Lavitri, Aganam Lavitri, Jagachema Datri, Jagachema Datri, Pavitri Kriyanno, Pavitri Kriyanno, Vapumitra Putri, Vapumitra Putri. Oh Yamuna Devi, you are full of love for Sri Nanda Nandana. You are actually carrying prema for Nandana. And you are like a sun that is full of light, only you are full of spiritual bliss. Your body is made out of liquid Brahman, or liquid transcendence. It's the liquid spiritual energy. You destroy all the sins and you bring auspiciousness to the world. May that Yamuna Devi, the daughter of the sun god, purify our bodies, our minds, and our souls. The lotus feet of Yamuna are always served by Ganga and all other holy tirthas. Why is she so glorious? She is glorious because she bestows service that is saturated with loving rasa to Sri Radha Krishna in Goloka Vrindavan. In her nectar-filled waters, Srimati Radharani and also Mukunda remain immersed in an ocean of happiness. I offer pranam to that Yamuna.
We have completed our journey at Yamuna, our pilgrimage. We have an ending quote or blessing that we could ask Ayatakshi to please read.
Ji Mataji left.
Okay. Then you can read Divya Kishori.
May the Yamuna, where waters sweet as grape sugar milk, nectar, are filled with golden lotus, where the shores are made of many jewels, where the water is wonderful with the splashing of playful, splendid jewel fish, where there is a wonder of glistening jewel staircases, increase the happiness of you all. May the Yamuna, where the shores are very beautiful, with groves of many kinds of wonderful flower-filled trees, with vines fragrant, with trees, increase the happiness of you all. May the Yamuna, where along the shores are frightened doors with wide open eyes, where sweet fragrance of many splendid forests of Kadamba and Champaka trees are everywhere, where there is an abundance of pollen, flying birds, pleasant breezes, and a sweet splendor everywhere, and where Sri Sri Radha Krishna's bliss rises, increase the happiness of you all.
So thank you everyone for joining today. I hope the Yamuna River will keep flowing in your heart for today and maybe the week or the month that will come. And remember, the principle that we had today was to actually be in the flow of mercy, in the flow of blessing. And Yamuna gave us a very beautiful entrance into that mood of being flexible in our life and allowing ourselves to not be too disturbed by the small things floating here and there in our life, but to remain very focused and very swiftly flowing the current of our life over all difficulties and with the current of Bhakti in our hearts. Shri Yamuna Mai Ki Jai.
I want also to take the opportunity actually to thank most of the past, actually I think even all the pastimes that we had, they are from Indrajuna Maharaj. So I want to also recognize him and thank him for the opportunity with the research that he's doing with all the pastimes.
And also a big thank you to His Holiness Sachinandana Swami. There was actually also something, I think because we were over time, I did not mention, but Krishna Murari Goswami was explaining that when Yamuna is a person to whom we can also speak our heart. And he was explaining that when Krishna had left Vrindavan and was in Mathura, he will go to Yamuna and he will speak his heart to Yamuna, how much separation he feels from the Brij Basis. And then he will enter the river of Yamuna and take bath there. And he will feel the water was hot because the water was filled with the tears of Brij Basis that were actually upstream of Vrindavan. And sometimes they will send message to Krishna also through lotus flowers that were floating. And when Krishna was there in separation in Mathura, he will get flower petals with some words from the gopis. And it is said that when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to Braj, he actually first came to Vishram Ghat, this place in Mathura where Krishna was speaking to Yamuna, because he wanted to feel and relish those feelings of separation that he was experiencing there when he was as Sri Krishna. So we thank you for joining today, and yeah, it was a wonderful journey. I don't know if any one of you like to share something or say some last words for today. Or we are a little speechless, which is also good, also fine. Yes, Divya Kishore, Mataji.
I just want to say thank you to both of you. It was very, very beautiful. After coming back from the retreat, I think this was the best to again associate with Dham. No matter we read, no matter we hear, but the spiritual experience with pictures and meditating. So thank you so much. It was really the best time. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. So wish to see you maybe in 1 or 2 weeks again. I think with living in Braj might be the last, but might be another one coming up. We had actually a lot of beautiful picture in Surabikund, which is a very deep place on the side of Govardhan. We might do another one there, and then we will leave it in pause up to next year when we can go to Vrindavan Dham again and prepare some new. But in the meantime, we will have more of the nectar reading Saturday morning. So we'll keep you posted. We are not always sure we can keep the pace so regularly, but anytime we can do it, we'll be happy to inform everyone. So thank you for joining. Ganga Mai ki Jai.
Yamuna Mai.
Oh, Yamuna Mai ki Jai. And all glories to Srila Prabhupada, like Indra Swami said, the revealer of the holy Dharma. Hare Krishna.
Hare
Thank you
Krishna.
very much,
Yeah.
Prabhuji and Mataji. Hare Krishna.